Yo, what up? It's me, Canner Closet, here with UBL Season 15 PRs, with 3 lovely people.
Bye.
You gotta give us some structure.
Come on, no.
Yeah.
This isn't your first UBL PRs. There's no structure here.
Yeah.
It is me.
No, you gotta.
Oh, sorry, Kathy.
Introduce them.
Sorry, Kathy.
So for a little bit of context for the audience, it's pretty early in the morning for our American friends over here, so Gambit's tired and kinda is hiding in the closet to not wake up his mom.
It happens to the best of us.
Which means after this recording, Canna is in fact coming out of the closet.
I'm
Joke's
so proud
on you.
of him.
I'm actually gonna live in here forever. I'm never gonna leave.
So we're gonna get a little bit of Canna ASMR this one.
Yeah. I'm also really tired, so I just woke up, so my voice hasn't adjusted yet. So it's deeper than it normally is.
Yeah, you're a little deeper.
Yeah, but you know what? It is what it is. I want to see if maybe can I get this in the closet? I'm not gonna worry about that. But all right, UBL season 15. There was 12 coaches. Winda didn't play.
Yeah, so because I'm not in this one, I get to roast everyone's teams and tell you you're all bad.
I cannot express how much you don't get to do that for me and Kathy.
Yeah. I mean, you can still
Wait, for you two? Why?
Because we're actively in the call.
Well, we get to do it more then.
No, I will fight back.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the one benefit. You can fight back, you can justify things, but apart from that, you kind of still get roasted.
Yeah, I'm still gonna roast you all. And it's not like I can even say, oh yeah, you know, I helped with some teams, because the only person I helped was Kath, and Kath made a different team than they originally planned that I helped them with. So it's like I helped no one. So I just get to roast everyone.
What do you mean, Winda? You drafted my team. What? Come on.
Yeah, did we just go over that?
Yeah, it has Clawitzer. So how is it not you drafting my team? What do you mean?
It says Kath also drafts Clarissa.
Yeah, and I had to remind her twice that it was on my plan. I wish I was joking. Anyways, let's get started.
Yeah.
God, I have to put the microphone down to copy paste stuff.
Desperately need to have a mouse.
More like have a rat, which we don't have.
All right. Well, okay. So I do have a mouse. However, Google Sheets is an incredible service that does not let you copy paste with right click. It just pops up. You know, you can press Control V, right? It's like, great. Yeah, I can't right now, but thank you. All right, someone want to read off this team? Oh, I didn't share
Evidently not.
I didn't share the fucking thing. Shh. I'm a professional, guys. I'm a professional.
I believe.
Listen, this was pretty scuffed anyway because we organized it like maybe less than
12,
night.
like 12 hours ago.
Yeah, it's
okay. So this is my prep doc. So it's gonna be a little scuffed, but luckily I don't have anything in the matchup center yet. It's just this from last season. Just Winda's matchup.
You could have just told us what team.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, I've literally nothing in my prep doc, and I'll probably make a new one anyways. But All right, someone read off this team. Pretty
Linda,
So we've
go.
got. Oh.
Linda, go.
Yeah, I'll do it. So first of all, we've got orange and Camborocho oranges. I'm not even gonna pretend I said that right. We've got Floodamane for the first time in like ages. Someone's finally drafted it. Along with Dragonite, Hisuian Arcanine, Rotom Wash, Zarude, Tornadus Therian, Sliverwing, Espeon, and Leavanny. So immediately just as S tier because it's got Espeon.
You're-
wrong.
As a Slitherwing,
Just wrong.
as a Slitherwing enthusiast, I agree.
Okay, so
It's also got Leavanny, so Cannon's gonna put in an S.
no, I'm not.
I
Just ask
Howard.
Gambit. I am Leavanny's biggest lover and hater.
know. I know.
We know.
Okay, so initially I was like pretty decently high on this team, relatively to what I think the other teams have. But then I realized it has 0 TR mode. It has 0 fake out, and it has 0 redirection.
Yeah, no, this team is fine. With like the first 4 and Tornadus, and then we start like going a lot downhill because we don't have the support those Pokemon needed.
I think these are all fine. I think everything besides Leavanny is justifiable. It does things. My kind of issue is we don't have any support. That's kind of where
Yeah.
my issue lies. Like, I don't think it's, you know, a problem with like these Pokemon don't have the support that they need. It's the fact that the only support is Tornadus. I guess Dragonite as well is technically a support mon here because it can
Yes,
multi-skill Tailwind, but
Yeah, and then like
and it's got haze, but like look at this. Look at this. 80 speed is bleak. For the bottom, that's bleak.
So I mean there's also the option, like, as much as you don't really want to, like, you can also use Fluttermane as a support mon. Like, But,
Yeah.
But you'd prefer to have a real support mon as a support.
yeah,
Possibly.
this team could definitely do with a support mon.
Dude, Bronzong would go so hard here.
Well, I know Wind is not going to disagree with that.
Oh no.
Mm.
That's
No,
Um, well, to be fair, like it would be more used for Imprison Trick Room because like there's nothing else to pair with the Bronzong.
Yeah.
True.
So like
You'd be
the
better
thing
off with
I like see with it is instead of like instead of going, well, I'm just like I'm not gonna draft a TR mode, I'm just gonna like use bulky offense and priority spam just to like beat people in Trick Room. Because like the mons are generally quite bulky, like Dragonite's bulky, especially if you are able to get away without inner focus. Like Arcanine's relatively bulky, Rotom's bulky, Zarude's bulky, Torn's bulky, Sliverwing's
The-
decently bulky, Fluttermane's
Fluttermane
bulky
can
on the
even be
special.
bulky.
Yeah, Fluttermane can be bulky. Like this team is like bulky offense. It's
This
just
team will
bulky
go-
offense.
So
This
it's
team would go
bulky.
crazy in a Nuzlocke.
So true. But this team's like bulky offense in like a really weird way because like typically
It's bulky offense in a singles way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Also too, like with bulky offense, kind of the theory behind it is you want to have you know, a balance between aggressiveness, but you also want the team to be easy to play. I look at this team and this team is not easy to play. You've got a lot of moving pieces with Rotom, Arcanine. Fluttermane is also a moving piece in some matchups. Like, you can't just run Booster Energy or Specs every single week and expect that to do well. You have to be extremely intentional about what you're EVing for with Fluttermane. So, like, I have my doubts. Just because of how hard this team is to pilot. like looking at this team on paper, I think even I would struggle a little bit to pilot this for at least the first couple weeks.
I can see it. I think this is like kind of just solid. Like,
It's solid until someone with sub 80 speed comes in and clicks Trick Room.
yeah, but
If-
at the same time, like, it's like, okay, so you spend your time setting up Trick Room, and then you've still kind of just got to kill the bulky guys, but there's also like 3 really strong priority users, which is why like I'm not as like
So, with Trick Room, because you don't have to put anything in speed, you have 252 EVs on bulk, so you're not going to do much damage. And this just feels like a Xianpao team without Xianpao.
Yeah, for sure. It just is.
It's gonna lack that
Because like
damage.
these two, if there was Qianpao, this team's like S tier.
Yeah.
But there's no Pao. Yeah, also too, like, if you're losing to like the mid TR teams, I think you're probably boned a little bit. Also, not to mention, and this is a very big trend this season, 121 as your primary tailwind is not good. There's so many Pokemon that just outspeed this and get tailwind up basically immediately for free into this team, and if depending on how the lead matchups work, you can just kill the Torn. Well, there's tailwind gone, and then you can kind of just chip away at the other Pokemon. To me though, I think this is like a B tier team.
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's B. I think this is like a solid baseline.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think it's like pretty average.
This is a good 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time to sit down. Oops.
Hi.
Hey, it's
Okay, there we go.
Kathy.
Hello.
Wowzers.
Do you want to read off your team, Calf?
Woo, I drafted Stakataka, Roaring Moon, Tapu Fini, Thwacky, Zoroark, Mega Manetric, Marakalula, Riolu, and Chimecho, Baby Cresselia.
Baby Cresselia, let's go.
Baby Cresselia, if awful.
Yeah.
You were gonna try. And I was not gonna let you win that argument. I was not gonna let you win.
What if the bulky psychic type wasn't bulky, guys? That'd be great.
What if the bulky psychic type wasn't bulky and didn't have the recovery move that made it so broken this generation? Surely that wouldn't happen, Clueless.
I think probably the best idea is other people give their thoughts and I'll try and justify them. Stack Attacker good is for me.
I have been really wanting Sakataka, so I'm glad somebody has.
I want
'Cause-
to let other people speak, and then I'll speak my thoughts because I have a few things to say.
Oh no.
All right, so here's my thoughts. Here's my thoughts. Kathy, you're my bestie. You know this, but I think this team's like fine. I don't think it's like bad. I don't think it's like B tier, but I don't think it's S tier.
Yeah, so
For one, you made this joke, but special attackers do not exist. We've got
Hey!
3 kind of on this team. Kind of 4. Like if we're squinting.
if you don't count breath.
Hey!
Like if we're counting really, like if we're squinting, like there's 2. What are you saying? Hey to?
There is 2 of them. Okay? don't.
Oh, my bad. It's
No,
an
that's
average of
Do you see what
78.
my name is in this Discord?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
This is a
that's
good
my
mod.
baby.
I'm not trashing Zoroark Hisui. I think it's a great mod for this team. However,
Oh.
78 overall special attack.
That's true. Really small.
That's fine. Just inspect Spinny every week.
That's
No.
true. You can
Here's
do that.
the real meta. Specs Chimecho.
Yo.
That's the meta.
Okay, just run special Riolu. It's fine.
Yeah. Alright, so let's get into my big thing, not just with this team, but I think a lot of teams this season. Looking over, I think that at least I think almost every team, honestly, other than like two, has points wasted in a non-zero amount. Here, it's Thwacky. I get it. It helps with
What?
stack. But you either drop Thwacky or you have to drop Finny. Double terrain doesn't work. Not for this. You'll
Everything's
be
fine, I think.
not when one of them is going to be pivoting out so often. In fact, Finny kind of just sits on the field a lot of the time, and that's fine. But Thwacky's a Pokemon that's going to be coming in and out. And I just don't think the two, you bringing two to the same match feels really bad, and then that means you're losing your Fake Out. You're choosing between Finny and Fake Out, and that feels really bad. I understand, but I feel like there'd be a better Fake Out Pokemon for this slot. And I think the rest of the team is pretty solid. I'm not personally a fan of Hisuian Zoroark, sorry Gambit, but I get it. We've talked about Hisuian Zoroark in the past, I know. But yeah, I'm not super big on it, but I get it. Obviously the team could do with more special attackers, because Mega Electric isn't the strongest, it can't run an item, and is more of a kind of intimidate Volt Switch piece anyway. So it really comes down to Hisuian Zoroark and Finny, and Specs Finny is not a set you want to run every week. So yeah, I've got a few too many issues for this team. I think the baseline is solid, the Fairy Dragon Steel Core at the top is really solid, but I think the rest of the team kind of falls apart the more you look at it. So I actually would put this at a B, top of B.
My main gripe with the team is that your main Trick Room setters are either Feeny or Stack Attack.
I don't think Finny gets
So
Trick Room.
Finny
Michael,
doesn't get it.
logistically,
Finny doesn't
It-
have Trick Room.
it doesn't? Oh, never
No.
mind then. You have Chimecho or Stack Attacka, and you don't want to click it with Stack Attacka, because you don't want him to take damage. So your only logical Trick Room setter is Chimecho, and it's going to die.
Stack Attack is a perfectly fine Trick Room setter. That's what it ran it in actual VGC. It ran Trick Room, Wide Guard, Double Stab.
Well, yeah, but it didn't have to always fight a ground type in that meta,
You don't-
aside
yeah,
from
you have
Lando
Terra.
T, which kind of just died anyway. Because you could just Gyro Ball Oko it through Intimidate, which is funny. But there's a lot more options that people have to deal with it this gen.
So you have Terror is the thing. You don't.
That's true.
You
Can Terra.
won't take actually that much from those things, and you can just use your faster mode as well, because it's not a pure tricking team. You can just run a faster mode, with
Yeah,
Roaring
I have
Range.
no problem with the speed. Roaring means great Tailwind.
Yeah.
And then if Trick Room gets up, you have basically lost. I'd argue Thrucky is real. Like, grassy terrain still benefits Fini. And it's still fine with every other Oman. And the opposite can be said of misty terrain. Well, yeah, if you know what I mean. The same thing can be said with misty terrain.
Yeah, it's
Apart from,
like
Roaring Moon, Cricking Dragon moves, lol. Well, that's not
Which-
real.
the only dragon move this mon ever clicks is like Breaking Swipe.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, like I think it's gonna be awkward in some games where like you like leave Blacky for fake out and then you've got Finny in the back and then you're like, well, what do I do now? Like it's just
not like resetting weather, it's just resetting terrain. It's not the end of the world at all.
no.
Or it's also like not resetting psychic terrain as well. Like I'm not clicking expanding force. The only thing I'm really clicking is like grassy glide
Yeah.
occasionally, which wasn't gonna do too much anyways. Zorak Usui I can justify because there's no fucking real special attackers that were left on the board. Same with intimidators.
Pompeo
Arcanine
Blaze
semi-real.
is still on the board.
It's,
Incineroar is still on the board.
I'm not drafting Finny, Roaring Moon, Stack Attacker, Incineroar.
This isn't a Lord Nobody team.
No.
I think Mega Man X-Tric's perfectly fine. Like I think like in like 2018 it was like a pretty solid mega like people would use. Because it was just like it was like Coco Light. Because like you would just mega up, intimidate things, Volt Switch, come back in, click Snarl, click intimidate things, Volt Switch, and just be super annoying.
Yeah, it's not gonna do too much damage, but I don't need to.
Yeah.
I think people are underestimating how much damage it can do. Because it's still a Tapu Fini without a boosting item, and that is heavily used in like current era VGC. Or not current, but
Yeah,
it's still used a lot.
Yeah, like it was
you don't
used.
even run special attack booster energy, you run speed. And it also has normal Flutter Mane speed.
Well, hold on. The reason you run speed is like a meta adjustment. But I mean,
Yeah.
Flutter ran special attack for most of its lifespan, but then also too, it just runs specs most of the time now. So like,
But it's gonna do more damage than people are saying it's gonna do.
Yeah.
I'll push
kind
back
of.
on that slightly because Fluttermane has historically had Terra, which is why it could do so much damage with so little special attack investment and everything. It also had a little mon called Chiyu.
Kind of, sort of.
My point still stands.
It
didn't always have
It'll-
Chiyu. It sometimes had Chiyu.
Yeah.
like Mega Man X-Tric's gonna do like 40% with a Thunderbolt, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's like, but that's one of your top special attackers, so like there's definitely there's no claw in it, so I'll say that.
Kind of sure of
that
that.
mod has less special. I hate it here.
But it has a boosting ability
That's
And
true.
an item.
and an item, yeah. So, yeah, do what you will.
See, if you drafted Coco instead of Fini, this wouldn't have happened.
Someone else had drafted Coco. Like how someone else drafted like every other Intimidator, apart from Paldea Blaze, which is a physical attacker, which would make my team worse.
That's true.
But yeah, you guys can decide. I would put it top of B personally, maybe low A.
I agree.
I'll put it low A for now, just because it's the second
I like
team.
low A. I like low A because of pilot bias.
Well, you try to keep pilot bias out, but yeah.
It's a Cappy team. Like, even if it was C tier, it's a playoff contender.
I'll read this one off because Kanna's talking ability is limited just because of being in the closet. So Kanna, they've got Dragapult, Sneasler, Crobat, Chloritzer, Magmar, Shaman, Alcremie, Berserker, Electros, and Spiritomb.
I feel like Clawitzer has been the most consistently drafted mid-tier ever.
Ever since I showed it off, by the way.
You played it once and everyone was like, I need it now.
Everyone being me. And then Kanna eventually.
Yeah, it was like, I showed Chloritzer was a decent mid-tier mon, and then Cav started using it, and now Kanna's drafted it. It's like, yeah, 120 special attack with an ability that boosts like half the moves you want to, like more than half the moves you want to run. Yeah, sign me up. It's like the only ones it doesn't boost are Flash Cannon and Ice Beam.
Yup.
So, yeah, I also have some choice words about this team, so I'll let you guys go first.
I like Magmar. That has nothing to do with the team. I just really like Magmar.
I don't.
I think it's. I think it's one of the better follow me users. That isn't Indeedee.
I don't like it after what it did to me. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Love you. I like how fast this team is. Crobat being the main tailwind setter is, I think, the fastest one drafted.
I guess that's not a priority, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not priority, but it's like base stat the fastest one drafted, and it's decently respectably bulky too. For a tailwind setter with that speed.
Slow mode mid. Woo. That's basically all I have to say. Apart from Chloritzer, it doesn't do a lot.
The entry trick room is imprisoned. And that is it. And it's on Spirit Tomb, so like.
But everyone's drafting tailwind teams anyway, so it doesn't matter.
It's okay.
Yeah. Alright. Time for me to get on that nice soapbox. Alright, come on, it's time to kill you. So now Cav's problem with the terrain thing was like, it was fine, What is Crobat actually doing on this team? Your two fastest mons are outspeeding Crobat for Tailwind. Why is Crobat here? The only mon on this entire team that wants the Tailwind is Shaman. I'm sorry. And Shaman can set its own Tailwind. It doesn't offer much type effectiveness because you've already got Sneasler. The utility of like Taunt and Haze, maybe Superfang, the occasional Brave Bird, that's fine. But this is 14 points wasted in my opinion. Like, there's no reason to have Crobat on this team.
I just have to ask, how does Sneasler outspeed Crobat on this team?
You have Unburden Fake Out with normal gem.
They got you there.
I'm never running that. That's terrible.
You've got that. You've got Sash to be broken. You've got White Herb Close Combat.
Okay, I'll push back on this a little bit. So Crobat, obviously it's not like the best, but what does it have that Shaman doesn't? That's right, Inner Focus. So I don't have to run Covert Cloak every single week on my Tailwind Pokemon. I can just run Mental Herb. It's got Infiltrator too, which is kind of funny. It's not relevant. I just wanted to mention it because it's funny.
But what are you tailwinding for, is my question.
Have you seen half of the teams?
Yeah, and half the teams outspeeds Crobat's Tailwind anyway.
Yeah, but they outspeed these two with their Tailwind as well, so I need to have a counter Tailwind option. Shaman doesn't cut it. Shaman has too many moves that it wants to run. It's actually extremely cluttered in its move pool, which is why an actual Tailwind setter is needed. I probably could have grabbed like Aerodactyl, but that mon's terrible. And drafted. But like I think Crobat's completely justifiable. I think it's fine.
It's fine on a team where you're drafting Tailwind to use it to outspeed the opponent. In this situation that you're describing, you're using Crobat to match Tailwind, in which at that point you're better off just drafting a better Trick Room.
Also, you guys are hating on the Trick Room a lot. Like, obviously it's not like the greatest, but it's not as bad as you're making it out to be. Like, Clawitzer obviously has been talked up. Berserker, I think, is actually pretty decent, all things considered. Like, it does damage. It's got Tough Claws. It's got Knockoff. It's another fake out Pokemon. Electros has 0 weaknesses and has, like, a stupid wide move pool. Like, this mon's actually good. I'm gonna have to prove people. But like,
I think those mons are fine. But as someone who has used it, Spiritomb being the only TR setter is not reliable.
well, yeah, it's not supposed to be like, oh, this is a super reliable like Trick Room mode. Like, it's not supposed to be like.
Yeah, but like I can just see games so consistently where you're just like, well, my opponent has a faster Tailwind. I either have to use Fake Out Sneasler, or I'm going Trick Room. And at that point, why is the Crobat there? Like,
oh no, I have to use Fake Out Sneasler. It's so bad. I have to
fake
out with
and then
Sneasler.
Assuming you don't fake out into.
Yeah,
like,
and then you get normal Gem
cover
Proc,
code.
and then you're unburdened boosted, and then you kill.
We've been over this. I'm not running normal Gem.
Okay, so how are you procking unburden? What's the point of it then? It's like half the point of Sneasler.
You got. No! The point of Sneasler is Dire Claw's a broken move.
Yeah.
That's the thesis of Sneasler. Because, like, half the time, Sneasler doesn't even run Unburden. Competitively, it runs Poison Touch.
Well, right now, it's because it doesn't have to.
Yeah, it doesn't have to in actual VGC, because the format's a lot slower. In this format, there are... I think most teams have a Pokemon faster than Sneasler.
No, I'd win.
And I think half the teams have Tailwind setters faster than Sneasler. The advantage of Sneasler in this format is being able to double its speed with Unburden. That's why, in my opinion, Lord Nobody got a lot of use out of it, because they were able to use Grassy Seed and proc and give Unburden Sneasler, and then it became threatening with Acrobatics. It was Fake Out Pressure alongside Wacky. The Grassy Seed made it bulkier, and because it also didn't have to run speed, because it was Unburden boosted, it could just run bulk, and then it would actually be pretty bulky.
I don't agree with it ending up becoming bulky, like, I guess depending on what seeds you have. But also, like, half the teams, I think, in my schedule have terrain.
That's true.
So, like, I can run that. Obviously, I'm not saying, like, this interaction is great by any means, but, like, I mean, 120 is still a justifiable speed stat. Like, if we look at this team before it, there's 2 Pokemon that outspeed it, Torn, Flutter, but I can get Tailwind up before either of them get to kill Sneasler, and then, you know, I'm just faster. Kathy's team, I mean, it's like Sneasler's not great into this team anyways, just because of Finny. Like, even if it had Unburden, like, it's not great into Finny stuff. And then you got my team.
What?
It's like good into Finny, but like the team itself, it's not good into.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, by saying Finny stuff, I mean like
Misty Terrain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, you said it's not good into Finny, and I'm like,
No. I said
Hannah,
it's
do you
not.
know-
No. I said it's not good into Finny stuff.
okay. That's about to say. I was about to say, Hannah, do you know your type matchups? Are we okay?
No, I do. Until it turns
Um,
Terra Steel and I click Dark Claw and I look like an idiot.
So,
Can I
yeah.
write that down? 5 weeks time.
So yeah, I have issues. That being said, it's still an A tier team
I agree.
because I think the pieces are still very strong on this team. I think Dragapult Sneasel is a great combination. I haven't kept up too much with Regulation Age, but I can see it being a strong combination in Reg Age.
It's like the second best team right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't
These
kept
two
up, but I'm like,
Magmar, that's
Ye-
why. That's why I picked
yeah.
it, because it's
My goat.
consistent.
yeah, I 100% see that. I think the slower pieces are good. And even if you're not setting up Trick Room yourself, I think can fight in Trick Room, like a bulky Magmar, and then like Berserker, Alcremie, Electros, Chloris. So, like, I think they're absolutely fine. I just, again, this comes back to the thing that I was saying, where I was like, I think a lot of teams have points wasted, and in my opinion, I think Crobat is a wasted mon, and that is 14 points. I get it from your perspective, but from my perspective, looking out, Crobat feels wasted.
Anyway, you slapped Chloritza from me 5 times, so like.
I think my biggest issue, like the lower pieces are fine, but that's almost not cutting it with some of the mons you're gonna have to deal with. Like, having a piece that's fine is not gonna deal with Stack Attacker.
Do you out stack attacker?
Yeah. And it's like, oh no, it got burned. I guess I'll click Body Press.
I mean, that still affects
Yeah.
body press.
I know, but it's still gonna do 200 damage.
And also, good luck burning the Stack Attacker on a Finny team. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's like, yeah. So,
So I think the slow mode in a vacuum is fine, but you're gonna struggle a lot against the more Trick Room oriented team because of how powerful those options are.
it's just fortunate there's not many of those.
Yeah, I think there's 2. And Kathy is one of them. And by one of them, I mean she has Stack Attacker.
Yeah. Stack Attacker is the Trick Room.
That is the Trick Room.
I might Tailwind outspeeds this, is all I'm saying. With boost
That's
speed.
Yeah.
hilarious.
Like I say, like half the Tailwinds outspeed Crobat. So,
But yeah, A tier.
yeah, I still think it's A. I still think the pieces on this team are too good to, like, ignore. But, yeah. God, I'm going to end up putting Kathy above everyone, aren't I? Because, like, no one can beat Stack Attacker.
Everyone has pranks to Tailwind. And I have Trick Room. Speaking of,
Wrong
not a while
format
mega.
selected.
Oh wait, it's
I love
oh,
that
it's
Pokemon.
switching out.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Well,
It's
I'll
my
let you
baby.
All right, go on, Gambit. Read your team.
So I finally drafted Mega Mawile. I have Farigiraf, Wartortle, Noivern, Meowscarada, Ironmouth, Moth, Tapu Bulu, Bastiodon, and Woopa.
Iron Mouth.
Iron
Iron
Mouth.
Mouth is
I was
Bastiodon.
thinking about Mega Mawile. I'm sorry. It's just Iron Mouth.
Yeah, you've got Iron Moth, and you've got Iron Mouth, and you've got Iron Face.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna be honest. I am shocked someone actually drafted a Wartortle.
Look at how much he gets.
I get it. It's shocking someone finally did it, but I don't think it's bad. But time for me to get on my soapbox again about wasted points. I get it, but Bulu plus Meowscarada is not a thing. I'm sorry.
That it never was gonna be.
So why do you have 2 physical grass types?
See, Bulu may be a physical attacker, but it's also the only Pokemon on my team that gets Snarl.
It is 75 speed. Also, does Meowscarada not get Snarl?
It doesn't.
No.
No.
It does not.
Oh, what it did.
I also like grassy terrain on this team because I have 3 steel types.
I can
I
see
have 2
that.
steel types and 1 Iron Moth.
I understand that. But then I asked the question, why Meow?
Like cat.
I like Cat.
Understandable.
And,
Have a nice day.
It was one of the fastest mons I could justify also being a physical attacker on this team with the points I had allotted to it.
But it's 15 points.
Yeah,
That's a lot of points.
it is.
Like,
But I just couldn't see myself using anything else.
Do you have a look what's on the board?
I'm looking. There's a Palafin there.
Yeah, but that's not fast enough.
Yep,
Who
Jet
cares?
Punch.
He's
It's always
got,
fast.
he's got Check Punch.
Always
There's
quick
Weavile?
No?
Actually, kind of like Weavile here. Wait,
Don't.
alright, fair enough. Funny cat.
Funny cat it is, I suppose.
Funny
like-
cat on team that doesn't fit funny cat.
I think my only other option I was considering was Cinderace. Because I don't like Blacephalon, and nothing else really matched the speed tier I was looking for.
Also, Cinderace is another fire type. I guess it can libero out of it, but yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, so can Meow, but that's not that real, really.
No, it's not as real as Cinder. Just because, like, honestly, Overgrow's probably better on Meow.
mm-hmm.
Unless you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course I can always Protean out if I don't need a grass type.
Yeah. But yeah, otherwise I actually like the team. Like these top 3 have just been like, alright, here's how I'm setting Trick Room. Now you gotta deal with Mega Mawile. And also Mega Mawile's really solid outside of Trick Room as well.
I love it. I'm happy nobody drafted Farigiraf. Because if I couldn't get Farigiraf, I wasn't gonna use Mega Mawile.
No, the duo is really good. Like, I like a lot of the pieces on this team. Like, I like Moth, I like Noivern. You know, kind of can talk trash and say that, you know, it's not a fast Tailwind setter, but the fast mode on this team is secondary. And also Noivern is just really nice for Frisk, and all its utility. It's really solid. I'm a big Noivern enjoyer.
I'm
Um,
also a Noivern enjoyer.
and also you can boost to speed them off. So you can get fun stuff like boost to speed acid spray with Noivern, which is really cool. So yeah, it's just one of those where there's also just not a lot of Pokemon on the team, so there's not a lot to talk about, and we have some disagreements about the double grass. Bastiodon's the GOAT, of course. And
My
especially,
goat.
So, yeah, no, I like this team. Like,
Okay. Don't they have the same special attack average as mine? That's what I'm saying. And
Yeah, but I have more of them.
Do you?
Yeah, because I have a throat
Oi.
spray for Rigoroth. And my
Okay.
special attacker is 140.
Yeah,
and
that
I
one's
can boost your
more
energy.
fair.
Thank you. I actually quite like
Throat spray frig isn't real.
Yeah. No, it's real.
Nice.
You have to trust. Because
Yeah, but my trust
people
is
are
in
too
something
busy trying to
bad.
deal with Mega Mawile. They'll never expect it.
I see your point, Kath. I see your point.
Yeah.
And if you really squint hard enough, to be honest, your teams are quite similar. Because if you look,
Mhm.
if you look like
Yeah.
really closely, if you just
They
look really
are.
closely, then Bastion is just basically stack attacker.
It's
That's
true.
one of the takes of all time.
It's so true.
If you just squint really hard, Bastion is just a 4-point stack attacker.
Look, if you took the 50 points extra I have in defense and put it into attack, it's just stack attacker.
Exactly. But yeah, this is also a team that can struggle with its special offense, and I think you do bring up a really good point, Kath, because especially one of the biggest physical threats can't hold a clear amulet here in the Mega Mawile. So that means that one of the physical grass types is gonna have to do the damage. Because to be honest,
Yeah,
like that's it. Like that's there's actually not a lot of offensive pieces on this team. Like
Another big issue is that I don't have a way of preventing it from getting burned. Because I can't Terra. And I don't have Feeny.
no.
Eh.
But I mean, you do have a redirection, which helps it, I guess.
True.
So I think there are going to be tough matchups for this team. But I also think sometimes it's just gonna be like, cool, I'm just gonna set up Trick Room and kill you with Mega Mawile. And like that's just gonna be enough because this is the UBL. When have people ever drafted Trick Room teams?
Oh,
Yeah.
like
it's
we
not
get-
like I got to
we get like
last season with
3
one
at
thing.
most. We'll get to talk about it a little bit later because someone else did draft Sidespam. But every time I prepped with Gambit, we were like, all right, we could do all these really cool, interesting things, but why would you not just bring in DD Hat here? Because then
Yeah.
everyone just
And
loses
that's
to it.
usually what won.
Yeah. It's like, oh, there's all these really cool, interesting things, but what if you just brought in DD Hat? Because people just can't beat it, because no one drafts Trick Room. Like, so you might just get that value here. I don't know if you and Kath play, but like that's like the only one where it's
Do we
like,
play?
Let's check. Yeah, we do, week 3.
I thought
Wait, no.
everyone played
No,
everyone.
no. I'm
no, because there's
no,
12.
I'm
Was it
mixing
just
teams.
Are we only
No.
doing 7 weeks this season?
Yeah,
I thought we were doing 8.
I
Oh, well.
thought we were. Oh well.
Oh well. But yeah. I
Don't.
Yeah, I
Alright.
don't face Kathy.
Well, I don't have to worry
Oh.
about that matchup.
That's fucking hilarious.
Nah,
The two similar teams don't fight. That's funny.
you guys are gonna get fight in playoffs.
It's okay. Whoever faces me or Kathy first now has a better understanding of the following matchup.
Yeah.
You just play slightly differently, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's been
It's just your team, but a little worse.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that, where I was like, okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move Kath up to low A and put you at top of B. Like, if
Yeah,
people
I'm
can't
okay
beat,
with that.
if people can't beat your team, then they can't go in A.
Yeah.
Like,
I will be the A.
you are the gatekeeper. Yeah, you're the A gatekeeper. If people can't beat your team, then they can't get to A. And I think a lot of teams are actually going to struggle to beat your team.
It's a decent team.
Yeah, it's really solid. All right, moving on. We also are kind of losing Canna because like they are really unable to talk now, so unfortunate. But we are moving on to this is Gig.
Knock Goldango off your bingo cards.
So we've got Ogre-Prong Wellspring, Gouging Fire, Scrafty, Aerodactyl, Goldango, Mr. Rhyme, Primarina, Morlul, Pawmot, and Miltank.
I can't believe Aerodactyl was on this before Goldango was.
I'm just gonna. So like we got Ogre-Pond, Guiding Fire. Yeah, that's good. What the fuck?
I have some thoughts.
Oh, I can't edit. Damn, I was just gonna put some question marks on.
So I like Scrafty and Draft.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think Intimidate Fake Out is good. I think
Yeah.
being a secret Moxie Sweeper is good. But it's never used because you always bring Intimidate Fake Out. Aerodactyl is okay.
Aerodactyl is like the most. This is a mon of all time for me.
That is a Pokemon, unfortunately.
that is a Pokemon that does exist.
And unfortunately, it has to be brung every week because they have no other tailwind.
Yep.
Why is Morlul here? Is it just the 1-point Pokemon they wanted?
It's the 1-point Pokemon.
Okay.
Yeah, but they have like 5 1-point Pokemons, or 4 really.
They have a lot of Pokemon don't need to be here.
Yeah,
Yes.
like
Yeah. So.
Pawmot's arguable to be here. Miltank's dreadful, Morlul's dreadful, Mr. Rhyme's dreadful. Aerodactyl is a necessary evil.
Yeah. And guess what? Even with all of those Pokemon that we think are kind of bad, guess what? I'm still getting on my soapbox and talking about Pokemon that don't need to be on this team.
Yeah.
Why is Primarina here?
Why is it here?
Yeah.
You have
I
Ogre
get-
Pond Wellspring. That's like the
I-
best water type you can draft. Why is Primarina
Yeah.
here?
I go, oh, that's really funny how you can do Follow Me Ogre-Pond next to Primarina and you serve, but you have Liquid Voice, Hyper Voice. So you
1
don't
point-
need
It's a 1.4. I guess that's okay then.
You might cheese games with Effects Ball once. That's
Yeah.
against me.
But yeah, like, why they picked this up in Grace? Because Rat dropped it, and I'm like, but why? You have Liquid Voice, Hyper Voice if you want spread water damage. That means you're clicking Follow Me with your Ogre-Pond, which is a good thing to do from time to time. But also you want to click the Cudgel button.
Yeah.
Like,
The
it's
only
here for a fairy. There are other fairies! And also if you drop like half the bad Pokemon on Steam, you can get a good fairy!
Yeah, I think a
Sylveon.
lot of points were used where points could have been used for a better option and
See,
just less
Sylveon.
Pokemon.
Right.
Yeah.
Sylveon is a cheaper Pokemon that does the same thing but better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you can actually set up Calm Minds with it.
Yeah. It does
Yeah.
fairy damage, which you don't have a lot of.
yeah, because
And
it's just
whoa,
Primarina.
it's
And
Primarina, but fairy.
and having Pixelate is so much better than Liquid Voice because Pixelate actually boosts the move.
Yeah,
And it's fairy.
and it's fairy.
The better typing.
There's a few fairy types I'm looking at. Like, his team doesn't have a Mega, so it could drop a couple of things, get Mega Gardevoir.
Oh my god, Mega Gardevoir would be so good on this team.
There's also Mega Altarion's team have a dragon. It does have Gouging Fire, so maybe
It has Gay Sex, that's true.
Mega Diancie. That's a very strong fairy type. Maybe it doesn't quite fit this team, but it's still, fairy type that does fairy damage.
I actually think paired with Ogerpon, it's not bad at all.
So, yeah, there are fairy types that do exist. There's even an Enamorous Therian.
Which would get you into the second point. Your anti-Trick Room is clicking Trick Room with Mr. Rhyme. And having a Morlul. That is it.
Yes, that is it.
You have a Morlul and it might stay on the field. You're getting 2-tapped by most moves.
I would say if you're not getting 2-tapped by a move, then something's wrong.
Yeah.
So
And then I guess you could say Goldango, but base 80 forward speed isn't going to cut it when you have threats like Stack Attack and Mega Mawile to deal with.
Yeah.
So we always come back to not drafting Trick Room.
Yep.
It's good enough for anti-Trick Room, because only just click Nasty Plot in front of you. But that's about it.
Yeah. Then you got to survive, and Goldango's bulky. But
It is bulky.
But isn't this a Pokemon that cannot Terra?
Goldango cannot Terra.
So
You're always getting hit by a high horsepower or
a crunch.
I don't know, a crunch.
It's gonna die.
It's going to die. If Trick Room goes up, this team is going to die.
Yes. And it's yeah, I agree. Kinda. I also just don't think that Pawmot's necessary. I get it. Cool, it's an electric type. Let me tell you, every person that's drafted Pawmot has been disappointed in Pawmot.
Let's be real. It's here for Revival Blessing. That is it.
What are your Revival Blessing?
I don't know. Gay Sex?
It's gouging and gold.
Ogerpon?
But you've also
It's not real. Not
No.
real.
no.
This team has 3 Pokemon.
Give it credit. It's got 4 Pokemon.
Yeah.
You know what? It has 4 Pokemon and sometimes Tailwind.
It's got 4 Pokemon and a Tailwind setter that's not very good. You can build teams. We've seen them. It's just this is not this
This is
this
not
has
one of them.
this is not one of them, and half the Pokemon are either bad or irrelevant. I'm
It's
sorry,
okay.
Gabe.
And that's okay. We've all built bad teams once or twice in our drafting career.
Yeah.
And this one just isn't it, and that's okay. Because Gouging Fire, it's still a possible threat. Ogerpon, one of the best Pokemon, period. It's really good. You have Water Absorb, so you can deal with Water types, even though you Quad resisted already. It is the best redirector in the game, in my opinion.
Fixable though. It is very fixable.
It's
Yeah,
fixable.
It's so
You get rid
fixable.
of Primarina for a real fairy type.
You get
It's
rid
like,
of
if you-
Primarina and Palmot, that's what,
If you
18,
literally
17 points.
if you get rid of the last 5 Pokemon and just change them for good Pokemon, then the team's fixed.
Trouble is, top side's like pretty expensive already. So
The
don't have
top side is really
much.
expensive.
Yeah, that's
Because
fine.
just
But like,
Fire, Ogerpon, Goldango is what? 40 something points? 50?
yeah. So if you drop the last 5 Pokemon, that's 34 points.
It's doable.
It's so doable. 34 points?
If you just drop Mr. Rhyme, Primarina, Palma, you get 2 Pokemon that are fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of said it in
We
Discord.
didn't say what kind of did say. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just kind of briefly acknowledged it, but this team is going in B above Orange, but below Gambit, because it can't beat Trick Room, therefore it can't go in A. And and the pieces are just the good pieces of this team are just so good. So like.
Yeah.
Like those 4.5 Pokemon will kind of get away with most games. So yeah. It's weird actually having to carry the conversation. Next up, we've got my goat, Lyric. My
I
bestie.
want to do it.
You want to do it? Go for
I
it.
want to do it. Because I love Tabu Koko.
I love
that
Coco.
Pokemon.
I love Coco.
Iron Jugulus, Taurus Paldea Aqua, Gothitelle, Vikavolt, Hisuian Decidueye, Raichu Alolan, Orthworm, Turtonator, and Zorua Hisuian form.
No,
I love a gimmick. Let me tell ya.
I love you, Lyric. I love you. Bottom of my heart.
Is he
But
gonna say the line?
unfortunately-
Is he gonna say the line? He's gonna say the line.
But unfortunately, there's a soapbox there, and I've got to step on it. Let me get on my soapbox again. Why is
does this
Vikavolt here?
Why is Vikavolt here?
Why is it here? I don't get it.
Is it for Gothitelle? Is that it? Is it the only Trick Room abuser Gothitelle can help? You're not.
There's a Hisuian Decidueye that's pretty solid for it. You can get a
I
10
guess.
points. But like
it's
this,
based 60 speed. It's not terrible, but it's
like-
going to lose to both of the other Pokemon.
like 10 points. You can get a Raquinid. I guess you've already got a physical water
Raquinid would
type.
be so good.
You've already got a physical water type, so I kind of get it. But
That's
like,
true.
you know,
You
Did
could
it
get
have
a
Vikavolt.
Raquinid. Could have got a Spore user. You could have got Breloom.
they could drop they could get something with 11 points because they have 10 Pokemon. Is there
They
anything
could have gotten
there?
a better electric type in Magnezone.
Perhaps. Wow, that really actually isn't that much at this point.
Yeah, no, 10 is not a good point range.
They could have got Mega Steelix!
Oh my god. You could have got Buzzwole if you really wanted to.
Yeah,
Uh,
Dragalge's there at 8 points.
This team has a lot of electric, and I can see going off of just an idea of Coco. You have Jugulif's with Cork Drive, and you have 2 decently strong electric types in their own setting, but you are never having electric terrain on the field with Vikavolt and having it do anything other than Electro Web and hopefully living.
The thing is, Vikavolt isn't... It's not even just Vikavolt is another electric type that the team doesn't need, because it's already got Koko Raichu, which is amazing. But it's also not an electric type that benefits from electric terrain, because it's got Levitate!
Yeah, oh my god, you're right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying! It's like...
I totally forgot about that.
I would know because, all the way back in the day, in Season 2, I drafted Coco and I drafted Rotom Wash initially, and then I realized afterwards, I was like, wait a minute, Coco plus Rotom Wash doesn't work the way I want it to, so I dropped it. For like, I don't even remember. It was like
A better
Magneton or
mod?
so. It was like Magneton or something. I don't remember. But yeah, I was like, oh wait, Levitate doesn't work with electric terrain. And yeah, so Vikavolt just kind of doesn't get to be a part of the electric terrain crew. Also, is there like, where's the boy? Where's the homie?
You're
'Cause,
gonna have
like-
to specify.
Iron Thorns is at 10 points. Come on.
Alright, in fairness to Iron Thorns, you already have like 4 different Pokemon that are getting absolutely mollywopped by any ground move.
Fair, but like my thinking is like you could have gotten one more like future paradox Pokemon. Like Iron Leaves is a point more.
Iron
You could
Leaves
drop-
would have been great.
I guess this is Hisuian, there's Decidueye. If you could figure it out, you could get Iron Boulder. And I think Iron Boulder Coco would be a really cool combination.
I think
It's
Iron
12
Leaves-
points.
Iron Leaves is good because you can just drop Vigavolt and Hisuian Zoroa and you get Iron Leaves.
Yeah, but then you've also got Hisuian Decidueye.
That's true.
So that's why I kind of get it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like we were going to see this team last season,
Thank
but
God.
not from Lyric, but Big E was going to draft Coco Jugulus, but I sniped the Jugulus from them.
King shit.
And let me tell you, I used Jugulus outside of terrain, and this one was like the best one on my team. I am now like a huge Jugulus truther. Like this one's amazing. I love it.
I agree.
You just run Dual Stab Snarl Tailwind, and it's just like this is the best one in the game. Like I just don't know what to tell you. But yeah, like I like the concept of the team. I think some of the pieces are a little on the weaker side.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, I generally quite like it.
I like
I like some parts, but some others would just be worse. Like
I think Gothitelle can be used pretty interestingly. I'm always a fan of seeing how people utilize Shadow Tag.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting here because it kind of it helps you win the terrain war, which is really nice. Because even if you have to lead Coco, and they call it right and they lead with their terrain setter, Coco you just Volt Switch out and just come back in, and you still get the terrain up. And you can kind of use that to win terrain, which is really cool. And also just trap things on the field with like Hisuian Decidueye or Orthworm. Like if you trap 2 physical attackers on the field and you're just sitting there with Orthworm clicking Iron Defense, like game's done. Like game's over. So I think there's some really cool applications for Gothitelle for this team. Like I think there's opportunities to use Shadow Tag to a benefit where it's worth spending the extra points on this slow fake out Trick Room setup. I think there's not great support for getting the Trick Room up, unfortunately, which is my only thing, because it's just kind of Gothitelle sitting there. It's like, I want fake out support, but I am the fake out support other than Alolan Raichu, which is not really the support you want for Gothitelle for getting Trick Room up. So...
That Fiery Wrath is gonna go crazy.
True. So... This is a great team in concept, and I think is close.
Some of the pawns need to be changed out for like bishops.
That's a good way of putting it. I like it.
Yeah, because you don't need queens. You have those. But you have one too many pawns in Rook. You need a bishop to like be able in the mid tier to be able to take advantage of what you have set up, and Vikavolt just isn't doing it.
Vikavoult's not doing it.
His Sidui is like iffy. I'm a his Sidui hater, but I also know that its move is fucking stupid.
His move is dumb. His move is so dumb.
dumb because it can do all three, and it's so stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Turtonator on this team.
I'm just not a fan of Turtonator in general.
Well, yeah,
Not
Mod
have
sucks,
Turtonator,
but, like,
and then your fire type and your dragon type.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like, when do you ever bring it on the team? Because
Uh,
it feels like it just gets in the way of your plan.
Trick room mode, but that's not
No,
that.
don't you ever say that in front of me again.
But the trick room mode is
Your better trick room mode is Earthworm.
Your better trick room mode is ignoring trick room
Yeah.
and trying to do something else, while stopping trick room going up with
Yeah,
imprisonment.
And
or
Hisui-
just, but I'd say Hisui and Decidueye in Trick Room actually can do some
Yeah.
pretty decent work. So,
especially if you're fighting high speed team.
which there's a few of.
There's a few. This team can do well.
Yeah,
It's missing a few pieces to bring it up to that like upper echelon of competing.
yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I guess Turtonator also offers Wide Guard, which is at least something.
What?
I would put this above Gig, below Gambit.
Really?
Sure. Like,
I was gonna say below it, but I can see either way.
I can see either way as well, but for me personally, I think there's more good Pokemon on this team. It's like,
That's fair. I
It's like-
think it's a more cohesive unit where Gig just has good Pokemon, whereas this has good Pokemon and a game plan with them.
yes, I think that's the best way of putting it. Like, there's 7 Pokemon on this team that I like.
rather
like-
than 4.
Yeah. And then a Necessary Evil. So. Which one is Lyric? Why? Of course it's Flowermouth Finials. How dare I forget my besties?
Yeah. How could you forget about the Finneon?
True. It's a giant question mark. Alright, now we've got the trainer.
I'm going to go fucking ham on this team.
You're not the only one.
Go for it.
So
Read it off.
we've got Galarian Weezing, which is only first because they originally had Taunty and then swapped it out. Deoxys attack, Indeedee female, Conkeldurr, Scizor, because that's Lime. He's Regigigas, Drifblim, Alolan Exeggutor, Trio, and Hippopotas. Alright, damn it. Who you or me? You or me? Who's going at it?
I want to go first, simply
It's
because
true.
I have beef. I have beef.
Let the dogs out.
You're gonna steal my flow. You're gonna rip me bar for bar, and then actively make the team worse.
Yes. Go on.
Because
go
like
on.
you have so many different strategies here, and by so many I mean 2. You have Indeedee Deoxys, which doesn't get proper use out of Indeedee because you don't have a Trick Room mode. But also you have Galarian Weezing and Regigigas, which actively gets in the way of Indeedee.
No. It doesn't just get in the active way of Indeedee. It gets actively in the way of like everything else on the team.
Everything else, you
You
actively lose Guts on Conkeldurr, you lose Technician with Scizor, you lose Harvest shenanigans with Exeggutor, Wugtrio isn't a real Pokemon, and Hippopotas is never coming.
and even on Burden Drifblim. Like,
You lose on Burden on Drifloon, it is only here for Regigigas, and Regigigas alone, and it's not that good of a Pokemon to use.
it's like
I've realized something even worse. Like, it's all doing here? It's Clunk. It's
Scizor-
more Clunk. You
Scizor
can't
is
use
the-
Bullet Punch with
Scizor isn't the
DD.
Tailwind user. What does it do here? It's just a Steel type?
It's
It's a steel type with priority. But guess what? You're sending psychic terrain!
You have Psychic terrain. You're not using
Oh.
priority.
Conkeldurr gets a pass because if you do get up Trick Room, then it is great in Trick Room.
Yeah.
And
Conkeldurr's good. Conkeldur's good. It's a good mon.
it's absolutely fine. Doesn't need to rely on Mark Punch. You've got it can rely on it in situations where the terrain isn't up, except the terrain's going to be up because the way to set up Trick Room is follow me and DD plus Executor. So the terrain's going to be up, but you've got Trick Room up, and then you just start smacking things with Conkeldurr, so it's fine. But and then you've got Deoxys attack, which I don't know if it's just a consequence of either Deoxys attack isn't as good as we're thinking, or Indeedee Hat's just way too good against everyone in this league. But we did not bring Deoxys attack that much.
I wish I brought it more, but I would have lost. It's not that good of a Pokemon. It really isn't. I love it to death. I love Deoxys, but it's not that. I legitimately think, for the purposes of this draft, Deoxys defense or speed are the best ones, and it's not close.
It's what is bro doing there with that?
Deoxys attack is clicking Expanding Force, and if you have to get in the way of that, Deoxys can't do much else because it doesn't have the stab. Yes, you can Terra, but you need Terra on so many other Pokemon on this.
Yeah, it's just it's...
namely the little Psychic Surge setter here, because you want it to stay alive so you can set up that Trick Room, and that's the main draw of Indeedee.
Yeah, you want it to stay alive to set up Trick Room. You want to stay alive to use Follow Me, and Helping Hand, and it's just gonna die if you don't terror it.
It's just gonna die, and then Deoxys attack is just on the field because you're not swapping it out to save it, because then you risk something else dying because it's getting attacked. Because any spread move kills it.
Yeah. You have to run Sash on it every week, really. If you run a Life Orb, you are asking for death.
I would actually prefer if they just had regular Regigigas as a support Pokemon.
Oh god.
That's going a bit far.
Yeah.
No, because it gets Thunder Wave, it gets Wide Guard, it gets Knockoff, it can actually do things. It doesn't need to be a sweeper.
Okay,
No.
I think you're pushing the envelope a little bit.
Maybe.
But I'm glad I didn't even need to get on my soapbox for this one. The soapbox was it was extended to just a giant platform, where we all get to stand on it.
Yeah, it's a Dondozo 2-2-2 team with 2 modes, and the 2 modes are bad.
Yeah.
And then you have 2 other mons that interfere with what you want to do. It's bad.
So, because there's always one set that I think back to. I don't know why this set always lives rent free in my head, but it's the Players Cup 2 finals where Wolfie won with Colossal, and the opponent had 2 decent mons. It was Urshifu and something else. It might have been Rotom Heat or something. I don't remember. But then they had Regigigas Weezing and Torkoal Venusaur, and the Gigas Weezing just got in the way of Torkoal Venusaur, and it just didn't work. And I was yeah, so if you just bring Weezing Gigas and just expect it to fit onto teams, it doesn't. You need a team that supports Gigas Weezing, and this is a team that actively hurts the rest of your team.
Yeah.
So it's
it's a funny duo. It's a funny duo, and it looks so enticing to use, but it isn't.
And you also have better duos. You've got the Indeedee Executor setup Trick Room, and also Frisk, which is great. I think that's a great Trick Room setup duo, especially because I'm a fan of. I personally like my Pokemon doing damage, and Alolan Executor is a Trick Room setup that does a lot of damage. So I like that duo into Conkeldurr. I think that's great. You know, you've got the fast Tailwind because of Indeedee plus Drifblim. That's great. And then all the anti-synergy comes in. Like, I guess other than Deoxys attack, but like, yeah. Like, just the mons don't work together. They just don't work together at all. So
I got it out of my system.
yeah,
Where are we putting this?
I'm putting it C.
I'm putting it C.
C or D?
Like it has tools. They're
Yeah.
just not good, and they're getting in the way of other tools that you need to use.
Yeah.
Is there any universe where Wugtrio does anything?
No.
No.
That is not a real Pokemon. You could have got a
Hippopotas?
3-point Pokemon and it would have been fine.
Hippopotas? Why?
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 It doesn't even add anything to the team. It's just there. That's your mascot. But you did fine without Wugtrio either. So you could have gotten a 3-point Pokemon that actually could have done something.
Well, in fairness, Hippopotas is exactly how I feel about this team. It is exactly how I feel about this team. Just look at Hippopotas, and that's how I feel about this team.
Yeah.
So-
No shade, full shade.
So yeah,
You could have literally had Dugtrio.
you could have had so many better Pokemon on this team. So yeah,
Could have had about 9 different Pokemon. Oh no, 10.
Oh.
Sorry,
I just realized
to make it better.
this team doesn't have Intimidate.
doesn't have Intimidate, doesn't have Snarl.
Nope.
Fake out.
Doesn't have Fake Out.
But Fake Out's bad anyway. But
Hey,
like a trade.
Indeedee has Fake Out. Yeah.
Uh,
The first words you say are those.
gas Fake Out. I hate you.
I'm gonna gash you.
Whoa.
I'm gonna like set up and kill this Deoxys with a single spread move. Then I'm just gonna fight in a Trick Room team.
Yeah, to be honest, the team kind of
Just-
dies to spread moves.
Yeah,
Show me the next team. I don't want to look at this anymore.
please.
Put it in C.
Before
Put
I
it in
go on
D.
about how Conkeldurr is the best mon on the team. That was really mean. I apologize.
Nah, it's justified.
Yeah.
That's all.
They said they would build my team, but better. So I had to go in.
So yeah, next up we got Lord Nobody, with Whimsicott, Mega Salamence, Genesect, Blastoise, Hariyama, Colossal. Say the line, Lord Nobody. I'm drafting Colossal.
I'm drafting Spuper. I'm drafting Fletchender. That's
I'm gonna
right.
kill him.
Okay, so this time I don't need to get on my soapbox because there's no like redundant pieces.
I disagree.
However,
Fletchender here.
you got a good point. Never mind.
Why is Fletchender here?
Pass me the soapbox. Pass me the
Whimsicott is
soapbox. Why is Fletchender here? Actually?
Why is Fletchender here? It's here just because it's nobody.
Yeah. So. Never mind.
Otherwise, I kind of like this team. I'm really excited to see someone use Genesect. I love that
as well.
Pokemon. I think it's really underrated, but I also think it's really hard to utilize.
I'm excited to see Genesect. I have one criticism that isn't as bad because they thankfully reverted their changes. God, I would have killed them if they dropped Whimsicott for Tornadus.
So agree.
Because at present, anyway, this team still just loses to Coco.
Yeah.
It's just like the team just loses to a decent fairy type with coverage.
Yeah. I think it also loses to Stack Attacka and Mega Mawile.
I think it also just loses to every Trick Room ever.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you have Blastoise? Blastoise is
Yep.
good. I like Blastoise. It's better War Turtle. Kind of.
I'm a big Blastoise enjoyer.
Blastoise getting Follow Me and Fake Out access did so much for him.
Yeah, he's great. Also, the only other way to quote unquote beat Trick Room is what they did against me, where they wouldn't. All right, I'm gonna go Terra Grass Colossal and sit in Trick Room.
Yeah.
And that only worked against me because I wasn't ready against it. Hariyama's there.
It's
And
got a lot of HP.
I am a big Hariyama enjoyer. I am a huge Hariyama enjoyer.
Flex.
But here's the thing. I preached a lot. I was like, listen, Guts is overrated. You don't need it. Just run Thick Fat Assault Fest with Fake Out Knockoff. You're doing great. But the thing is, you still want the option to run like a Guts offensive set, and here it can't do that. It just cannot. It's like it is not supported at all.
Yeah.
Also, why is Spupa here? Like for redirection when you can't use Blastoise, but then it's so much worse.
You're right. I didn't even think of that. You have Blastoise. Why is Spupa here?
It's like
Friend card, I guess. For Gus.
It's like it's like if you need to use Blastoise for something else that isn't Follow Me, but then you're also having to bring Spupa, and we've seen nobody use Spupa, a bunch, but like it's redundancy.
I've never seen it do anything. I'm gonna be for real.
I've seen it click Rage Powder.
Yeah, that's what it
and
does.
Something else did everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could do that with any other redirection mon, including Blastoise.
Yeah,
You
it's
could
just
have done it with Clefairy.
Yeah, you could have done it with. Oh fucking no! Why is Spupa fletching to Eradicate here? It's a 6-mon team, and the 6-mons don't justify it.
I mean, this is a Lord Nobody team where they draft super top end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can
I
someone
also
explain what Alola does? Not
It's funny.
here. It just. What does it do?
It's got hustle.
True.
It has
Yep.
hustle and base 77 speed.
Oh my god.
71 attack.
What?
sure
Just get regular Eradicate.
I think regular Eradicate's actually more.
Well, yeah, because better.
Oh, it gets Snarl. It's the only mon on the team that gets Snarl.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yay. Anyway.
I also don't know how you want to trigger Colossal. Like, I get Aqua Jet Blastoise.
That's a good question.
No, I
'Cause
think
it's like-
Blastoise is good.
Yeah, it's like Aqua Jet. So it's Aqua Jet Blastoise and Surf Megaments. But Megaments has
Yeah.
like 120 special attack.
No, I think it is always Aqua Jet, and that's fine, because Blastoise
Yeah.
has Follow Me,
Yeah,
and you have options as well. I think it's that's fine.
I think
Yeah.
it's doable.
yeah, but this is a 6-mon team,
Yes.
which means
This
you
is
have
a
to bring
6-mon
Colossal every week. Which means Blastoise has to be running the Aqua Jets every week. Which means you don't have a redirection.
And this 6-mon team does not beat a Trick Room at all.
No.
It
No.
has no way to do that.
It is imprison Whimsicott. Whimsicott doesn't get imprisoned. It is reversing Trick Room with Whimsicott.
Yep.
Or taunt. He has
Or
to be
taunt.
taunt.
Which then loses to redirection.
Ken says beta below Gambit. I think that's generous, but I can't remember the other teams in beta.
I think it's below. Who is below
So-
me? Lyric?
So it's Lyric, Gig, and then Orange below Gambit.
Yeah, I think it goes below. I could see it going below Gig. but my gut says below Lyric
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's like,
because I like Lyric's 7 Pokemon team with cohesive synergy versus
Yeah.
a 6 Pokemon team with different points of synergy and a Genesect.
yeah, I think I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it below Gig personally. I've got my own tier list as well that I'm making. But yeah,
Next team.
like, yeah. I will at least briefly mention the good parts of the team. You know, Whimsicott Mega Mence is good. Having the priority tailwind for Genesect is great. You know, Mega Mence, as Calf proved, is an amazing mon. What do you know?
I don't think it's even that good. I think
I don't
it
think it's the
just-
best Mega.
it's just so solid. It
Yeah,
does,
it's
Really
just
good.
it
yeah.
does its job very well, and it has Intimidate.
Yeah.
It's
I
the
like
most-
this team. Next
It's
one.
the most incinerorable of the Megas.
Yes.
Yeah, but it gets Hyper Voice, so you can just do that.
You can run it mixed pretty good.
Yeah.
Alright,
Anyway,
yeah. Whatever. Next one.
My friend. So we have Iris Revan and the St. Louis Staraptor, who is running Sun as per usual. We have Mega Charizard Y, Landorus Therian, Venusaur, Suicune, Gallade, Sableye, Clefable, Trapinch, and Monferno.
I liked this team. I'm gonna say very key liked. And I looked at flying resists, and I went, ah. I looked at dragon and steel types, and I went, ah,
You don't have any.
yeah. I don't think it's that bad.
I
I
don't
actually
know.
kind of like it.
I think it's decent.
Yeah.
Winda. Is the
Yes.
soapbox applicable?
it's like there's one foot on the soapbox.
Are you just
Because
gonna say
I-
Trapinch Monferno?
No, I'm gonna
Okay.
say Sableye.
Really?
Just because, like, it
Yeah.
screams, but, like, at the same time, and Gallade, kind of. Just because it's not really the team for Gallade.
That's fair. I think Gallade needs a little more support. It can't handle being the support Pokemon that often.
No.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not super big on Sableye, like, on this team. Like, I get it. Screens is pretty good, especially when you pair it with Venusaur and Megazord Y.
I also like Priority Willow.
Yeah. Combine that with Intimidate from Landorus. It's pretty
Really
solid. Especially Screens plus Suicune as well. Disgusting.
Yeah.
You're never killing it. And like in a pinch as well, like you can use it to set weather again, which isn't too bad.
Mhm.
I personally despise manual weather. But you've got Megazord Y, so who cares? You've got like one of the best weather setters ever. So like,
Yeah.
who cares? Your opponent's gonna try and stop weather, and then you go Mega Evolve, click Heat Wave, nuke everything. Have a good night.
Do you want me to speak for Kanna? Because as he said, there's nothing above 100 speed. Shiller's Venusaur that gets outsped by some mons. Any Scarf 125 plus mon outspeeds Venusaur with Sun. It's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is like that is the only way this team is getting speed though, which is unfortunate. Outside of the Tailwind sets, which I don't love Zardwire as a Tailwind setter. Suicune, absolutely fine. But I don't think like this team has Hyper Offense Sun, and then it's got like a couple good mons like Lando, Suicune, Clefable. I'm a huge Clefable enjoyer, of course.
Yeah.
There's not really a lot of it Clefable to support, really. Other than like there's like Calm Mind Suicune, It's like, if you want to set Trick Room, but that seems like a bad idea for this team. Like, this team isn't fast, but it's not slow.
Yeah, it's in the worst speed tier.
Yeah. Kind of also
And-
brings up a good point where Gallade is, like, it's solid, but, like, it cannot be the way to set or deny TR.
Yeah, because you need to run other things, so you don't have anti-trick room.
Yeah.
The benefit being you have Lando T, and that deals with most of the trick room that is drafted in this draft, except for Stakataga.
Yeah. It's like it's super solid. Like,
Yeah.
It's just there's not really a lot to say. It's just like there's Sun. It's really good Sun. Do
Mhm.
not get me wrong, it's great Sun. Lando T's there. I kind of wish it had something to Earthquake next to that wasn't just Zard Y, but it is what it is.
I want
I
a
think
steel type in
traffic-
this team.
Yeah,
Give me a steel type, please.
draft
don't go-
Duraludon or something.
You don't want to go grey on this team, Bronzong.
True. Get it?
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know. Zard Y Lando T is really expensive.
Not just Bronzong.
Like 17?
There's no way it's 17. Should be like a
16, my bad.
Jesus Christ.
It's expensive. Like, getting rid of Gallade Monferno doesn't get it.
No.
You'd have to maneuver around, because you're already at 9 Mon.
I was about,
You're
to, about to say, Canner, it's actually my fault that it's that expensive.
Yeah,
Like,
you did it.
I won 2 seasons in a
Like,
row
for
with
very
it.
Christ, you buffed the Pokemon.
I did show that Bronzong is a menace. So, yeah, I get it.
I think it's better than Gig's team. Again, it's good Pokemon with a cohesive goal. And then some
Gig.
pieces that are a bit wonky, but your goal is a good goal to achieve. I also think it beats my team, but it's not better than it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Hmm. Hmm.
Huh.
Because, like,
Bomb of B.
Yeah, I was going to put it a bit slower. I was going to put it bottom of B and move Orange down to C.
Really?
I said, yeah.
Yeah. I think...
Can we move Gig down in which case?
Mm-hmm. I do like it more than Gig's.
Well, so right now B is, at least for me, it goes Gambit, Lyric, Gig, Lord Nobody, Orange.
Yeah.
So Gig is in the middle of B, so you want to drop everyone.
Oh.
I don't think it's the worst one in B.
No,
I
definitely
think
not.
Gig and Lord Nobody is bottom of B. I can see Nobody's team going to C, but
You want to
I
put
think
Orange's
that's the
team in C then?
worst one in B.
I think, hear me out. We move Orange down. We kind of have to at this point, but
Yeah.
I think we can do them below Gig, above Lord Nobody.
I agree.
I think that's where I sit.
Kenner said they moved my team to A. It's here. I don't necessarily agree. I do think it's a bit of an outlier. But I'm fine with being the top of B because I don't think I'm on the level of A yet.
I think I think if coming to the end of the draft we're just really struggling with P, then you're going to A.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think I'm at B because I do struggle against most of the teams in A.
but
And
currently
even-
there's 2 teams in A. So
Yeah. So I struggle against most of them. That being 50%.
yeah. But that's only also 2 teams.
Yeah.
And we've only
Uh,
got 3 teams left.
One of them
So-
will be A tier, I think. Be the
I
next
think one of them is 18. At
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, this one coming up.
Woo, transitions.
We know about that.
Whoa!
Real.
Yeah.
Actually, well,
Well, yay, transition.
yeah.
All right.
Hoorah.
So we've got Fat Rat, and they changed their name this season. What is it now? The Balling Ballers. So we've got
Stupid.
Stealer, Mousehole, Terrakion, Hydreigon, Killer Wattrel, Milotic, Dashbun, Runarigus, Executor, and Torracat.
Finally somebody uses Celesteela.
Okay, I'm
That
getting on my
Pokemon is
soapbox,
so broken.
but for a different reason.
Go for it.
Rat, my brother in Christ. You had the only team that I would have put in S. The only team, and then you dropped friggin' Annihilate. I
Why
get
did
it.
you drop Annihilate?
I get it. You wanted the
had
better speed
Mousehole.
tiers. I think in this league, no team can beat Mouse 8 plus Celesteela. I think no team does
absolutely
it.
not.
I think literally no team, like literally Mouse 8 plus Celesteela, no team in this league can beat. I disagree, Kanna. I think Annihilate. I think Mouse 8 plus Celesteela, no team can beat. It was the only team I would have put in S. It was my favorite team by far. And now I think they've made it worse. But I understand the changes. It's not like I don't get it. The team did need some better speed overall, and so they made the changes accordingly. But I don't think anything was beating Mouse 8 plus Celesteela. I think literally nothing could do it. No team could prep hard enough for that.
I think one Mon could beat it, and it's Mega Charizard Y. And even then, you'd still end up having to deal with Milotic.
So, yeah. Like, because you can't intimidate this team even post changes. There's 2 competitive Pokemon. Like, you can't afford to give those boosts because they will ruin you. Kilowattrel, great Tailwind setter. Love Kilowattrel as a Tailwind setter because it's kind of without it. It's like it's like I used Kilowattrel and I was like it's okay, but like because it's so fast and gets competitive, and as well as Volt Absorb, it's really nice. And Hydreigon being a backup Tailwind setter as well, really solid. I like Mousehole Terrakion. I like it less than Mouse 8 because Annihilate is kind of more of a flexible Pokemon, whereas Terrakion is pretty much only going to be good with Mousehole. Like, it does not do enough damage in this day and age. Let me tell you. I used this one in singles, and I was like, why is this thing doing like 50% Urshifu with close combat? Like, what is happening? So, like, it's not strong enough without the boosts. So, like, I think Dashbun's a really cool Pokemon as well. I'm a big Dashbun believer. But, and then, like, the Trick Room stuff is, like, kind of there. But, like, it's Trick Room to get Celesteela, and Celesteela is just God. Like, I think, like, a ton of teams are just going to struggle to beat Celesteela. Like,
That Mon is so broken.
It's disgusting. It's honestly broken. So, yeah, like, it can't Terror, sure, but, like, it will just win.
It doesn't need to Terra.
Yeah, it's already got an incredible typing. It's got 2 weaknesses. It's got insane bulk, and you've got like a million great sets to run on it. Like, you've got You've got the I'm going to kill you with 1,000 cuts leech seed protect set. You've got the you've got like the meteor beam set. You've got autonomized sets. You've got like just bulky offense set. You've got so many sets for Celesteela, and it's such a deep move pool as well with so many different things. It's just so good. Like
It
huge
never
cells.
dies.
It just doesn't die. It just does not die, and like while you're also trying to deal with Celesteela, you've got to potentially deal with Boost Terrakion, Hydreigon, like Kilowatch or Milotic. Like I think there's just there's too many Pokemon that I like this team a lot. I think Trick Room is its weaker point, but the Pokemon are bulky enough where they can like Celesteela, Milotic, and even like Exeggutor if you use Terror on it, and Runerigus are bulky enough, and Dashbun as well.
I think Celesteela and Runerigus are reason enough to where you almost don't want to click Trick Room on this team.
Yeah, no.
Because it doesn't really matter, and then you're still dealing with the same scenarios, except now you have a Runerigus that could outspeed your Pokemon.
Yeah, and like do decent damage with Earthquake.
Yeah, especially because both of the Trick Room threats are Steel type. And they struggle to deal with Celesteela.
It's just Celesteela. It's just
This dumb fucking Pokemon. Holy shit.
Could you imagine if we let this thing Terror? Oh, well,
I would cry. Actively.
that would be a round one pick.
I
One.
have second pick.
I would pick it first. I will first pick of the draft.
That
Terror
is first pick.
Yeah, that is first pick. Like no questions asked. Terror Celesteela, first pick of the draft.
It's also its own tier of 27 points.
Connor, am I allowed to say what you just sent me?
Say it. Say it.
+2, 252 special attack, Terra Electric, Spiritomb, Terra Blast versus 252 HP, Celesteela, guaranteed Oko. Why? Why did you send me that?
What?
What gift do I send them now?
That's when you slap on the Assault Vest.
Yeah, Assault Vest. Celesteela also runs like bulk in multiple areas.
I'm so angry that it's an actual set. Because it's a bulk of Pokemon. You're not supposed to be allowed to do that.
Yeah, it's just it's great. For me, it goes top of A. I would put it S if you kept Mouse Ape, but it goes top of A.
I agree.
Yeah.
I still think it's the best.
I still think it's the best team, and I think it's closer than it would have been, but it's still not that close. I think it's still leaps ahead of Canna and Kath. So, well done, Rat. You cooked. Now don't go friggin' 1 and 6 with this, because I will.
I swear to God, if you somehow don't make playoff,
I will fly to America and attack you. Like you have no right losing.
this team logistically should win the league.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's
Bar
Rat.
It's absurd how crazy this team is, and I believe in Rat.
I wish I did.
Next,
Rat making
Yeah.
believe. What the fuck? 3 fighting types.
So next up,
3 water types!
we've got
So next
Hodge
up,
Chris, the
have-
Titanic Destruction.
Yep.
So we've got Mega Lucario, Hitmontop, Zapdos, Pelipper, Kingdra, Kamoa, Shiftry, Vaporeon, and Honchkrow. Do I need to make room on the soapbox, Kath? Do I need to make room on the soapbox? Come on, join me on the soapbox.
Do I have to say it?
no. Fair,
So-
my
so
friend.
So I was like, okay. I was mentioning to Karen, I was like, you only like, I like Chris's team, and this is before they drafted Shiftry, and then they drafted Shiftry, and I was like, where is this going? I do not like it anymore. It is bad.
So here, so I immediately was like, oh no. When I saw him on top Mega Lucario, I was like, oh no. Don't do this.
Yeah.
So here's all I'll say. They get it. They get a small pass. We've seen this on some other teams where, we've given them a bit of a pass because they've got a theme going. We've seen electric terrain, we've got psychic terrain, so we're allowed to have a couple water types. Vaporeon does not count in that mix because you're not using water absorb Vaporeon or hydration Vaporeon. That is not a real thing. Stop it. Get some help.
Trust. It's the hydration rest. You don't know.
I do know. I've used it. Not in doubles though. Free fighting types. Yeah, they all do different things. But no. You can get away with 2. You can get away with Mega Lucario Hitmontop. I think that at most, but you can't get away with Komodo as well. No.
This team has no answer to any fairy type.
Oh yeah. Oh.
It can kill them with Mega Lucario, but
That's true. Unless your name is Tapu Koko.
If I say any fairy type that outspeeds, it's gonna. I shouldn't say that because of Whimsicott doesn't really kill it, but yeah, there's Bullet Punch, but kind of says Kingdra is not a real mon. In this day and age, probably not.
I can see it. I just not in this league.
Yo, Dragon Shit Sniper. Whoa.
That's funny.
Shiftry, this is not the mon. This is not the team for Shiftry. Shiftry is a Sun Pokemon, not a Rain mon.
Well,
I think it's
Shifty's a
exclusively here to
Pokemon,
use
There you go.
Didn't it get a buff this generation? Didn't it get wind power?
You got Wind Rider?
Yeah,
Wind Rider.
Which it doesn't
One
list
piece
underdog.
type.
Yeah.
It doesn't list it, but I think that's the reason it's here. It's not being run in Sun. It's not running Pickpocket. It's not running Chlorophyll. It's running Wind Rider and it's setting up Tailwind, but it's base 80, so it's not a good Tailwind setter. You already have Zapdos.
You already have Zapdos. You can even argue you have Pelipper. Hell, also,
you have Monstro.
Also, I've just realized, do you need... It's there's double wide guard. It's yeah, kind of said it best. It definitely feels like a Pelipper or bust team. Because I like Zapdos with Pelipper as well. I think that's great.
Yeah.
But oh my god, the type overlap. Oh, it's too much. Oh, it's too much, and
Double Dark type is bad.
Double Dark, Double Dragon, Triple Water.
Double Dragon at least is justifiable.
It's just
Double
triple
Dark is
fighting.
just bad.
Triple fighting. Triple water. You can have 2. You can have 2. Maybe more if the other water type is also a Rain Sweeper.
I could be if... Honestly, I like Politoed more than I do Pelipper on this team because you already have Hitmontop for wide guard.
I can see that. I also just don't like Pelipper as a Pokemon.
I agree.
I hate Pelipper.
Also, you have better Tailwind setters, so having a Parasong option would actually do more.
Yeah. Also kind of said it.
Monstro-
This team has no way to beat Trick Room.
Nope.
I'm a weak one. I'm just gonna note this down.
I think the last 4 Pokemon on this team don't need to be here.
Yeah, no, and that's a lot of points. That's how many? That
Because
is
Komodo is 16,
15.
I think.
15,
And then the
so
rest
that's
add
20,
up to 20 something.
Komodo
27.
is your it's a setup mon, right?
Yeah.
But you can't set it up because your redirection is Mega Lucario.
Yeah.
No.
So those last 4 Pokemon come to a total of 40 points.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points you can work with. So. Kind of says you should get rid of the rain stuff. No, actually, just scrap the
No.
whole team.
No, see what you do is you get rid of the last 5 Pokemon, you draft Palafin.
Honestly, I could see it.
And you get back Mega Swampert from last season.
Yeah, but then double mega, which is fair enough.
Yeah,
that's
you don't want to do double mega.
Yeah, but that gets me a thing off my bingo card.
Oh, yeah. Azumarill probably goes harder.
Azumarill would be good. Ludicolo would be great.
I'm a huge Ludicolo enjoyer. I think it's a little on the expensive side though, Ludicolo.
Is it?
It's 12 points.
Oh,
Azumarill's 13, right? So
yeah.
Yeah.
I like Ludicolo on this team a little more than Kingdra.
I could see Azumarill Ludicolo actually being really solid. Like I like that. Because like then Pelipper can maybe flex into doing offensive damage, and Ludicolo can support. And then you got Azumarill, which can work like in or out of rain, and then maybe you get some like Trick Room stuff, so you can use Azumarill in Trick Room.
I know why Honchkrow is here. It's his favorite Pokemon. You never bring it.
As someone who has drafted Honchkrow twice, it's not good.
It's not good, and you have things that do its job in every category.
I have drafted it twice for 2 full seasons, and it came to 1 game in preview. Didn't even come to the actual match.
The only benefit it has here is being a 15-point stronger Snarl user than Shiftry. But Shiftry is 9 points faster, and you already have Zapdos, and that's using Tailwind. You don't need to bring Shiftry, really. It has a lot of parts that don't connect.
No.
You have a lot, like, you have some Lego pieces, and then you're trying to mix them with Mega Blocks, and it's just not working.
I think that's a really good way of putting it. Yeah, this is unfortunately the worst team. It feels bad to put it like in D, but it does feel that below the power level. But at least it has synergy. I'll at least give it that. It does have synergy.
That's something Gig does not have. But
at least the pieces want to work together, unlike the Trennis.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna put it in D. I'll put it bottom of C though. It's got too many overlapping pieces, and yeah, definitely fixable though. Definitely fixable.
I agree. If you draft away for Tomoka setup, you justify having it, but I think there's better Pokemon in its tier to apply to this team.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, Regidrago.
I still done Double Dragon. It's kind of weird.
But Double Dragon, it's usable. It's a thing you can use pretty often.
Yeah.
You also have Clefairy is still undrafted. Illumise, Prankster. What? Does it get Prankster Encore?
Yes.
Yeah, you have Prankster Tailwind and Encore with Illumise. Tapu Lele is still on the field. Weavile is still on the field. You can get regular Salamence or Bombi.
There's a lot of options.
There's a lot of options.
Anyway, final team. We got the largest of ease with Ogerpon Half-Flame, Walking Wake, Murkrow, Sandy Shocks, Mega Lopunny, Copperajah, Slowking Gala, Sunflora, and Gramble. Now, I might have made a point a little earlier.
Is this your final time on the little box?
Get up.
It might be. I hate manual weather. But this team wants Sun so bad.
and it just doesn't have it.
It doesn't
Walking
have
Wake
it.
Walking Wake was sniped off of the Sun team by this team.
And it's like, alright, so if this has Sun, this is really solid. Like, I really, really like it. Like, even, like, I would be... If it was Torkoal, I would push for this for A.
Yeah.
But it's not. I disagree, Kanna. I highly
Your
disagree.
is Murkrow.
I highly disagree, Kanna, saying that doesn't need Sun as much as you think. I think Walking Wake without Sun is middling. I think Sandy Shock without Sun is okay. I think Ogabon Hoffling can work without Sun, but it gets like so much better with Sun. And Sunflora is not a real mon. I tried.
I tried.
I tried. I think it was literally the first season of Gen 9. I had Sunflora and I used it, and I used Solar Power, Terrafire, Sunflora with manual Sun on a weird ear, and I did win, but that it could have been anything else doing that. I like the Trick Room stuff, and that's why I said if this team had Torkoal, I'd really like it. Because I think you can afford to... This is a team where the fast fake-out setter can work enough, because Mega Lopunny kind of hits like a truck and it can also U-turn. But also you don't care if it goes down, because if you bring in, what would be a Torkoal, who cares? Or even just in this case, I like Slowking G plus Copperaja. I think that's a really solid duo for Trick Room. Copperaja has actually been drafted multiple times, and has shown to be a pretty solid Pokemon for Trick Room attacking. Really slow, does a lot of damage because of sheer force. Heavy slams hit like an absolute truck. So, this team is so close. It just needs Torkoal, because Murkrow isn't it. And then you might be like, well, what about the Tailwind? Sure, I can see that point, but I think then the balance for speed comes from the booster speed Pokemon. And then when you can't rely on that, then you've got like an incredibly scary Trick Room setup, which, as we've talked about, not a lot of teams can deal with.
I think Sandy Shocks is one of the most not overhyped, but this Pokemon got a rep better than it is.
That is also true.
I don't think it's that good of a Pokemon. I think it was just on a team that boosted it really well, and it became interesting to use.
Yeah.
On this team, it's fine.
I like it. I like it for dual screens on this team.
Yeah.
I like it for
but
dual
I
screens.
think there's better mons for the job.
Yeah. It's dual screens that also does damage. So you could probably get away without Sandy Shocks. I think that would be fine.
And
but
that
I
would
think
help you increase your point total to get Torkoal.
yeah. I think it's perfectly fine to get rid of Sandy Shocks, but I still like it on this team.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad Pokemon on this team. I don't think it's one of those where like, oh, you need to drop it, but I think if you do want to improve it, then that's something you could consider dropping. Because it is 14 points, it's kind of expensive. But I think for the most part, just get rid of Murkrow, pick up Torkoal. I think it makes the team... It turns the team...
Here?
Sorry?
How much is Murkrow?
15.
Torkoal
Yeah.
19, right?
Torkoal is 20,
Really?
but it can Terra.
Cantera.
Terra's not really that relevant on it, and just
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, but I say Terrafire Eruption actually.
Terrafire Eruption melts resisted teams like Stack Attack does.
Yeah. I think if you drop Murkrow and then you could maybe drop Sandy Shocks for something else, or you could just go super in on the top end and like drop Gramble plus some Flora for some lower point stuff. I think either of those works to pick up Torkoal, and then maybe a different like. You don't even need another like Photosynthesis one. I think like Walking Wake and then Pokemon Half Flame is absolutely enough.
Yeah.
But
And if you don't want to take the Sun route, Walking Wake, it's just kind of not doing enough.
yeah, no, Walking Wake without Sun doesn't do enough damage. It needs a Specs at that point, and then
And there's some really good Pokemon in 18 that you could replace it with. This team it has a Mega already, so you don't need to like focus on getting a better Fairy type or any Fairy type because Granbull is not a real one.
yeah.
But there's like Metagross, there's Latios, there's Necrozma if you want balance, Pheromosa and Nihilego if you want sweeper, Spectrier and Regieleki are in this tier. If you want to downgrade a little more, you can add a Trick Room option with Porygon 2. Volcarona is there if you want to keep the fire aspect. There's some really good options that Walking Wake, for the purposes of this team as it currently is, they're just better than Walking.
Yeah. I think if you want to still have a good fast supporting Pokemon, you could drop Sandy Shocks for Screamtail.
Oh yeah.
Screamtail is a point less than Sandy Shocks.
Screamtail. There's also Raikou if you want fast screen.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of options to use available.
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of options. And we're saying all this because this team is so close to being like
really good.
top 2, like in my opinion. I think
it's in the upper echelon right now, but I think with a deciding factor like having Sun or having a better like out of Sun Pokemon, it just bumps it up that much.
Yeah, I think as it stands, for me, this becomes the king of being Gambit moves to A.
I think it just.
Actually, no. I disagree.
Really?
In fact, I would actually put Lyric above it. Now that I think about it, I would put Lyrics above it. So my order would be Gambit moves up to A, and then Lyric becomes top of B, and then Big E below it.
I can see it.
So that's where I have it. So I don't know what Canna's looks like at this point, because Canna's doing their own that you'll see on the video. But at least for me, you can see Canna's on screen. For me, I've got... Okay, you're just copying what... Yeah, so Canna can make their own and probably put it in the Discord as well for you guys to see. But we've got no S's this time. We've got Rat at the top of A, followed by Canna, then Cafe, then Gambit. Then into B, we've got Lyric, Big E, then Gig, then oh my god, Pyrus. I always forget who the St. Louis Town Flames are. Then Lord Nobody, and then dropping into C, we've got Orange, then Patrena, then Chris. So no S's this time. I think
But more A's.
More A's. Just I think all the teams have some notable enough flaws to not put them to S. There's no defining best team, I guess, other than Rat. Rat is the closest, but isn't good enough to put in S, in my opinion. And I've been kind of leading the charge for this one, so just because Canna's been a little out of commission, for this one, but I'm sure that they have their own thoughts as well, which they may leave either in the Discord or maybe on the comments of this video. So, but yeah, that is going to do it. Thank you for joining me, both Kathy, Kana, and Gambit. Kind obviously not as much able to, but you know, still here to record the video and pop in every now and then. So.
Yippee!
Make sure to like and subscribe. Keep up with the video, guys.
True.
Hit
That's
that
pretty all for us.
motherfucking notification bell.
Click that notification bell. And keep up with the UBL. We're gonna have seasons for a long time because I love these people, and I hope we never stop.
Meh.
Meh.